All right, everybody, unhappy Friday. Coming to you live from our Midwest Eagles nest here at the Back Porch Saloon. Finally back in the nest there at the Back Porch Saloon. Been a minute. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. We got the draft up over here. I've got a bunch of our Midwest Eagles nest faithful out in front of us, a couple of douchebag Bengal fans over at another table there. We'll take care of you guys later this year.
Yeah, all right.
But we appreciate you joining us from wherever you may be and whatever service you're using to tune in. So please pull up a chair, turn up the volume if you need to. I'm sure we are loud as all hell. Crack open a cold one if you've got the opportunity. Hopefully, by God, you are not still stuck at work at this hour on a Friday. Let's try to have some fun as we put an end to this week's hostage situation and look forward to tomorrow being Friday Eve. Folks, we are, again, like I said, here at the Back Porch Saloon. So if you hear some background noise, it is a very busy dinner crowd. There is a prom party out front over here. No, you're not allowed to make dirty comments about any of them, you freaking perverts. But we got the draft up on the TV here. We're kind of just waiting and watching. Glad you could join us. Who's in the room? Andy Bagley's in the room. What's up, roomies? Happy draft night, and let's go all things Philly. Lou Mancini says howdy, and he is drinking his dinner tonight. Well, join the club, my brother. Cheers. Happy Friday. Unhappy Friday. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. Who else do we got here? Andy Bagley again. Does Mel Kiper's hair ever move? No, and he still does not have a cell phone, just so you guys know. He has 4 landlines at his house. Apparently, when Todd McShay needs to get a hold of him, he has to text Kiper's wife to figure out which phone to call or something like that. I heard that on the radio this past week. That's a mess. Lou Mancini says tomorrow is Sunday Eve. Yes, sir, it is. Let's get right down to business. Just a couple of things. As always, folks, if you are tuning in on Facebook, Twitter, please do not forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe to the Green Legion. If those services are where you're more comfortable, we totally understand. But just ask most of the folks that come into our chat room. The best way to interact, unless you are here with us, is via the YouTube channel. So do us a favor, even if you're more comfortable on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever the hell else we're at, head on over to YouTube. Search the Green Legion. Subscribe, hit your little bell for notifications, and don't forget to share that everywhere. Share the YouTube page everywhere. Share the Facebook page everywhere. Share Twitter everywhere. We want to flood the interwebs with the Green Legion and Green Legion Radio. Travel packages. We go over it every week. We're going to go over it again. Never too early to start talking about it, right? We are just a couple of weeks away from full schedule release, which the way I look at it is when the Green Legion offers their early bird stuff, I look at that as Black Friday. And then when the schedule comes out, it's like Christmas Day, right? You get to open your presents. But there's some stuff before that. Yes, obviously it's baseball season. So Green Legion and Phil's Fever invade London June 3rd through June 10th. Keep in mind, the Green Legion, the only Philly sports fan experience company that successfully traveled 1,846 people over to London for Eagles versus Jags and got everybody back home. Again, June 3rd through June 10th, head to the website at the bottom of the screen here, scrolling across the bottom, trips.greenlegion.com. Green Legion invades Baltimore in the Inner Harbor, June 14th to June 16th. Again, the website, trips.greenlegion.com, scrolling along the bottom of your screen. The big baseball one that I talk about in a little bit more depth every single week. This is Green Legion invades Chicago for Phillies at Cubs. This is 4th of July weekend. The trip is July 3rd through July 6th. And that, I can tell you, if I was a Phillies fan and I was looking to take a trip and I could get away from children for the 4th of July weekend, easily would be what I'd want to do. Think about a Green Legion trip, but in Wrigleyville in Chicago. While you're fighting Phillies are playing. Can't think of a better way to spend the weekend. It's 4th of July, fireworks over the lake. You know it's going to be an awesome time. Get signed up from the website, trips.greenlegion.com. course, the big one for the upcoming football season, Birds and Packers in Brazil, week 1 on a Friday night. Still taking deposits for that. And I can tell you, if you were going to travel down, you want to go with someone, some group that's led by someone who has experience traveling in that country, knows the culture, knows not just where to go, but also where to stay away from. I can tell you there is no better resource for that than our fearless leader, Craig Quimby Chinoski. He leads the group that is the absolute best in the business. So if you're looking to go to that game, obviously you want to weigh out all your options. No doubt about it. What we always encourage is please don't travel alone, okay? You want to be in a group, preferably a large group. Things change very quickly down there, and things can go south very fast. So make sure you are with a group. We prefer you to travel with the Green Legion, but we ultimately want all of you to be safe. And on top of that, what else are we accepting? Early bird RSVPs for all 2024 away trips. That is New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Los Angeles, Cincinnati, Dallas, and, of course, the bus trips to Baltimore, New York, and Washington. If you guys are looking for a trip, if you're looking to hook up with me out on the road, I can tell you, as long as the dates work out when that schedule comes out, Michelle and I will be at New Orleans. That is the number one. That's where we want to be. Fallback would be Los Angeles, but we want to go to New Orleans. You also have the opportunity to come here to Cincinnati. We are hoping for that game to be sometime in September, maybe early October at the latest, before the weather turns. I can tell you that this city, I know it's not a big city. I know Ohio gets a bad rap for being, it's a flyover state. When it's still warm here, there's plenty to do. And your hotel will be downtown. Your tailgate location will be right at the Banks, which is in between Great American Ballpark and Paycor Field where the Bengals play. And again, Green Legion, the absolute best in the business as far as fan experience travel. So if you want to come out to the town that I live in now, though I am not from here, come on out to Cincinnati. It's probably going to be a little bit of a discount. Won't be maybe not quite as expensive as some of your other trips. So if you're on a budget, Cincinnati might not be a bad option for you. You can also drive it from the Philadelphia area if you felt like it. You do not have to get airfare. It's roughly a 9-hour drive from South Jersey. All right. So if you're on the other side of the river or on the other side of Philly from there, you're looking at 8 hours, 8.5. You go with a tandem, really not that bad. You can make it work. Get signed up. Get out on the road with us. We want to see you out there. We always do a great job. You guys all know that, right? Green Legion is easily the best way to travel for an away game. So my only question is I have every week, if you're not signed up yet, what the hell are you waiting for? Get signed up. Get out on the road with us. All right. Now that we've got through all that. So looks like just Andy and Lou in here right now. Oh, Nikki Cunningham. Hey, y'all. How you doing, darling? Good to see you. This app is where it's at. Lou Mancini doing us a favor there, telling you that the YouTube page is the best way to go. We've got some more Birds fans showing up here. We're all getting excited for the draft here. We're going to cover our pick from last night, what we may or may not do in round 2 while we're sitting here. Try to call out picks as it goes along. Buffalo's up right now. Right now, coming into the second round, we have 2 picks in the second round, none in the third. So we will pick 50th overall and 53rd overall unless Howie gets crazy and start making trades. So, did I miss anything else in here? Andy Bagley. I want Ladd from Georgia, and I'll be a happy man tonight. So you're looking for that slot receiver, the third receiver option. I'm not against it, but I do want to see linebacker. I do want to see offensive line depth. I need to see that too. What else? Nikki Cunningham, cheers, Blue Moons. Lou Mancini, can't believe the Gene is still on the board. Well, I can't. And that is because of the absolute rash of offensive players that went off the board last night. We did not have a defensive player picked until the 15th pick in the draft last night. Absolutely insane. You had 6 quarterbacks go off the board in the top 12. And if we may, for just a moment, take a moment of silence for the Las Vegas Raiders and all their fans, who I'm sure thought they could just stand pat at 13 and end up with Michael Penix Jr. And lo and behold, the Atlanta Falcons shocked the world after signing Kirk Cousins to a 3-year to a monster deal. They go ahead and take the number 8 pick and grab Michael Penix Jr. I don't get it. It was a shock to me. And I was a little pissed because it blew my perfect top 10. Those of you who have been with us for 2 years now, and by the way, tonight's show is the 2-year anniversary of the Unhappy Gilmore show. All right, we're still a small niche audience, but sometimes it's for the best. I do get to come up here to the back porch and do this. But anyways, it blew my top 10. I try to pick the top 10 each year. And last year we had the top 4 right and 7 of the top 10. Last night we were 7 for 7. And then Atlanta takes Michael Penix Jr., which I still don't understand. But it's not for me to understand. Apparently, all of the word from Kirk Cousins' camp is they are not happy. Basically, what they told Cousins is that this is that he's got a 2-year deal. So he'll turn 36 in August, I think it is. He'll turn 36 before the season starts. So you've got 2 years of Cousins. That's it. And they're planning to move on to Penix after that. Or sooner. Who knows? Although I don't know how. Because you can't move off of Cousins. At his age, with that amount of money, they're not going to be able to move off. So, yeah, Rumi and Suni. Kirk ain't too happy about that pick. No, he's not. And they are vocal. They have been vocal today about it. Andy Bagley. Greeny is such a weasel. Yeah, we're watching it at ESPN one too. Mel's best available. Look, I respect Mel Kiper for what he did as a pioneer back like early 80s when he wrote the whole draft guide, like basically hand typed it and sold it to people. And that's how he ended up where he is now. That's where he started. So I give him a lot of credit for that. But overall, I think he's lost his marbles a little bit. He does tend to rate guys a little too high. He had Cooper DeJean as his number 1 corner last night. Mitchell and Arnold were easily the number 1 and number 2, so I don't. Keenan Harmon joins the room. Hey, fellas, I'm headed to Judges in Bristol for dinner. If you know, you know, and I don't know, so fill us in on those details, brother. West Eagles next. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! It's a small group, but we're growing. It's bigger on Sundays during football season, kids. All right. We're going to move on here to the boner of the week. And this one, as always, for most of the time, is pretty easy. Dave Conant in the room. Wasn't sure we'd see you tonight. Glad to see it. Kuiper's a bum egomaniac at this point. Nice. We're going to move on to the boner of the week. And, Dave, you might want to put your earmuffs on. You guys know that our good friend Dave Conant there is a San Francisco 49ers fan. He doesn't hide that. He's preached about it in the chat room with you guys, so we give him a lot of props for that. But for college, he is also a Florida State Seminoles fan. And so we are going to jump into the boner of the week with what do you need? Michigan. Yeah, I'll get it to you. Just give me a minute. So we are going to move into the boner of the week with the Florida State Seminoles. I don't know if anybody else saw this throughout the week, but like I say every week, there's always a winner. Sometimes it presents itself early in the week. Sometimes it's later in the week. Sometimes I'm scrambling. Sometimes I need your help. This week, I did not need your help. So if you guys remember the 2023 college football season, right, ended with some controversy. Big shock. When you create a 4-team playoff and have 5 power conferences, you create the atmosphere for this sort of drama every freaking year.
as much as I love baseball,
And this past year was no exception.
I do.
Now, there's been teams who have been snubbed before, right? You had some one-loss conference champs that got left out. This year was the most egregious, though, as you had an undefeated Florida State team that won the ACC championship and became the first Power 5, undefeated Power 5 team to win their conference championship and not get in. So, did they have a gripe? Sure, they had a gripe. Of course they had a gripe. But the bottom line is, when Jordan Travis went down to a season-ending injury, it was difficult to imagine them being one of the top 4 teams in the country. Okay? And then their backup goes down. And you end up with a true freshman, Brock Glenn, as the starter for the ACC championship. Now, Florida State won the game 100% about their defense, led by Verse, who, for my money, I don't know if Fanny's listening or not. If I had to pick between Verse and Dallas Turner, Verse would have been my pick. Just saying. So while Florida State managed to beat Louisville in the conference championship, it was obvious that their team looked incredibly weak without their stud quarterback. Not their fault. Shit happens. But, so despite the undefeated season, the committee decided to leave Florida State out of the playoffs, stating that they no longer looked the part of one of the best 4 teams. A decision that was discussed at length in any corner of the sports world that that you were in. You have to be living under a rock to not hear this story. We discussed it at length on this show. I discussed it at length in the text thread that Chris Sack, Lou Dominguez, and I have. Lou jumped my shit saying I was wrong, that no one else has been screwed like that. I didn't say no other undefeated team. I said they're not the first one to get hosed. Be that as it may, it was what it was. Well, Florida State this week decided to commemorate their big season and conference championship. The Noles decided to hand out championship rings. Fair, right? Just one little problem with that, though. They put the word unconquered on this. John, you're going to want to hear this. They put the word unconquered as part of it. Okay? Now, look, I get you had a big regular season. I get that you won the conference championship. What I also get is that your entire fan base and most of your team pitched the pitch about not getting in the playoff and decided not to play in the Orange Bowl, which was your opportunity to show that with your backup quarterback, not the third stringer, because the backup would have been there at that point, that you belong, that you still belong. And instead, nobody played. And what happened? Anybody remember what happened to those lowly Seminoles? They got absolutely mollywopped 63-3 at the hands of a very angry Georgia Bulldogs team. So now you want to put the word unconquered on your championship ring after you got a mud hole stomped in your whole ass in the Orange Bowl, which was the biggest game of your season. You already won the ACC championship. This Orange Bowl is your biggest. You're up against Georgia, 2-time defending national champion. This is your chance to say, screw you, committee, we belong. And you went out there with a roster that looked comparable to the movie Necessary Roughness. You may as well have been playing Iron Man football, and you got bludgeoned, beat down. Not only did you lose by 60, you didn't even get in the end zone. You couldn't even score a garbage time touchdown. The one field goal you got was in the second quarter. Meanwhile, you got outscored in that quarter 35-3. Unconquered. But you have got to be absolutely kidding. Look, great season. You deserve to have the championship ring, but you are way over your skis on the unconquered thing. You cannot put that in that thing when you go out and get absolutely murdered in your bowl game. Mostly because Now, look, do I think Georgia would have won that game regardless? Yeah, probably. That was an angry Georgia team that felt like they should have been in the top 4. They felt like they got left out. But what did they do to respond to that? They played football. And they kicked your ass. Up and down the field. That game was over at the coin toss. That game was over at the national anthem. Unconquered. You can't do that. You are now comparable. After that great season, all you've done with this nonsense this week is made yourself in the same conversation with that UCF football team a few years ago that went undefeated, albeit in the garbage conference, and declared themselves national champions. That's the plane that you're on now. After an undefeated regular season where you win the ACC. So congratulations, Florida State, on your unconquered season.
You're saying you should be joking.
I will take the results I saw in the Orange Bowl and say, no, you didn't belong, and the committee was absolutely correct. Happy boner of the week, Florida State Seminoles. All right. And I got a friend in here who's a Knowles fan.
They should write a school telling them they're trash for doing that.
Dave Connett says you're wrong on boner of the week. It's totally the flop for his ref bashing. Look, I mean, Dave, we could honestly give LeBron James. We can honestly rename the boner of the week the LeBron James Award. You know, I mean, for how much complaining he does on the court and off of it, based on refs or whatever, we could totally just rename it that. So it's really not fair. I got to mix it up. Lou Mancini, I'm thinking of the A's, right there, and you are correct. Lou Mancini, sharp as attack, even though he's drinking his dinner. Russ Taylor, no, it wasn't North Texas, it was the Little Giants. Russ Taylor, the nose are not boner of the week. Have you seen those women at FSU games? So, yeah, we're going to stay away from that one, brother. All right, moving along. I'm going to keep this moving right along there. I am going to try in a couple of minutes here to get one of my Midwest Eagles Nest minions here to jump in this seat right next to me and give me their thoughts on last night's pick and what they think we should do going forward. But the first thing I'm going to do is talk about what we did last night. So, Quinn Mitchell, number 22 overall. Look, you are not going to hear me complain about that pick at all. You're not. We did not have to trade up and give up more assets to get a top flight corner, and it was a position of need. My biggest fear going into last night was that Howie was going to get antsy if a couple of corners started going off the board, that he was going to trade up, or if he started getting rumors that somebody was going to take these guys, he was going to give up draft capital to move up and get Quinn Mitchell or Terry Arnold. And we didn't have to do that. So we kept our second round picks, both of them that we get to see tonight. Where are we at? Pick 35? Yep, still a ways to go. All right. We kept both of our second round picks. We didn't trade up because we didn't have to. Because the whole freaking NFL has gone bananas over offense. 6 quarterbacks come off the board in the top 12. 14 straight offensive players to start the draft. Never seen anything so crazy in my life. Now, I did believe that the top 10 last night would be all quarterback, offensive line, tackle, and wide receiver. But once it got past there, I did not believe, although I did think Atlanta might take Dallas Turner. And, of course, they shocked the world with Michael Penix. So the first defensive player comes off the board at 15. Howie's sitting there licking his chops. I don't have to trade anything. The only thing I'm going to call out. So let's take a look. So Quinn Mitchell, look, 6 foot 195. So he's not your 5'9", 5'10" corner. He's 6 feet tall. He's got good long arms. He's 195 pounds. He's not a small guy. He also ran that 40-yard dash in 4.3, which is nice speed to have. Now, granted, that's the underwear Olympics. You guys all know my policy with that. Do it in pads. Right? That's where it really makes a difference. But let's read some stuff about – let's read the good stuff first, okay, about Quinton Mitchell. He was every expert's number one rated corner, aside from Mel Kiper, who, again, like I said before, I'm convinced is playing with – I'm not sure he's playing with a full deck anymore. 6 foot, 195, 4.3 in the 40. So here's some of his draft profile. And we did not do this when we talked about corners. I only concentrated on corners that were, from big conferences. Mitchell possesses a gumbo of traits with size, strength, and speed filling up the pot. He's built like a running back, tackles like a safety, and has the ball skills of a corner. Mitchell can play in a variety of coverages and was the clear-cut top corner at the Senior Bowl when working against the top wide receivers in practice. You guys have not by now seen the film of him covering Marvin Harrison Jr., who was easily the best wide receiver in the draft, if not the most talented player in the draft. While he needs to trace a more efficient path when hounding the route, his burst to close and physicality at the catch point could create tougher throwing windows for quarterbacks. Mitchell's traits, play demeanor, and special teams potential should make him attractive to teams in the market for cornerback help. Well, that suits us. Well built with broad shoulders and natural physicality. Feet are fairly nimble and agile to change direction with routes. Postures up into pass catcher's frame and claws at catch point with success. Outstanding burst to close for quick recovery and playmaking. Sees when he tackles and run support and wraps the legs. That's huge. Okay, especially when you start talking about if he's got to go make a tackle against like a Christian McCaffrey. You can't, if McCaffrey's coming downhill, you can't come get McCaffrey up here. He's way too strong. You've got to go at his legs. Something this kid excels at. Tackling and speed to become a top-notch gunner on punt returns, which might be where he starts, right, as a rookie. Although I would love to see him take that other outside job from Bradbury. Maybe move Bradbury. We got Maddox back. I don't know. Now, listen. It can't all be sunshine and rainbows, right? Like the great Rocky quote. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. So, obviously, with the good does come some negative. He can get into trouble by declaring his hips too soon. For those of you that don't know, that's when you're kind of, you're trying not to give away what your coverage assignment is, whether you're zone, man, whatever. Even if there's motion, you try not to give that away. Or you're trying not to give away what you think the receiver is going to do. And apparently, he tends to do that a little too soon sometimes. Still learning to maintain feel for routes and man coverage. Okay. I mean, obviously that can be a problem, but I will tell you, we are going to play a bunch of zone behind a lot of pressure up front in Vic Fangio's offense, or defense, sorry. Eye balance between quarterback and route is inconsistent. So, you want to read the eyes of the quarterback, but you've also got to pay attention to the route, and I guess sometimes he gets a little over his skis there. Average route anticipation can get him behind at the break point. It all kind of ties together, right? Will get caught behind bigger downfield targets from a positioning standpoint. So think like a 6'3" wide receiver. He struggles for position. Now, a couple of bullets that I added. I'm not mad about the pick at all, okay? But a couple of things I am going to call out, and it really all ties together to one thing. He played in the MAC conference at Toledo, okay? Now, look, I know he looked great at the Senior Bowl against the nation's top wide receivers, including Marvin Harrison Jr., who we just talked about, easily the best wide receiver in the draft. But he played the MAC. So week over week, who was he up against? Right? I don't get the sense that there's a whole lot of top-notch NFL-ready talent coming out of the MAC conference. All right, it's not a powerhouse conference, so that's my only apprehension is the fact that it might be. He might be. There's a chance he's a little bit more of a project than we are hoping for. There's also a chance he's not. Look, the bottom line is he was rated by everyone across the board as the top corner or number 2 behind Terry Arnold. And that's where I struggled last night. I'm not mad that we took the corner. I'm very happy we didn't trade up to take a corner. Right? That would have had me pissed off. If we were trading up, it needed to be for an offensive lineman. So I'm happy at that point. I'm happy with Quinton Mitchell. Where I'm like a little on the fence is the fact that no corners had been taken to that point. And so we had our pick of the litter. And a lot of experts had Mitchell and Arnold kind of, 1-2 like that. And when you look at the competition those guys faced week in and week out, there's no question who faced better competition throughout the season, week in and week out. It's obviously Terry and Arnold at Alabama, right? He's going to go up against LSU with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. The SEC as a whole is loaded with NFL talent. So that's the only area where I'm like, but you make up for that with not having and not trading up, not panicking and trading up to get in the corner. So I'm not going to complain. We needed a corner. We got one without having to give up additional draft capital. But, I told you my call out. But as always, guys, in Howie we trust, right? Like, the guy isn't staring us wrong. He struggled for a little bit with first-round draft picks. And that's not been a thing the last couple of years. So, jury's still out on Jordan Davis, but we'll see. So, we've got 2 picks in the second round. No, what's Lou Mancini got here? The guy I worked with hoped they would trade up to get the Gene. So did Marcus Hayes from the Inquirer. Didn't even need to trade up to do it. We could have taken the Gene at our 22nd pick, and they chose Mitchell. Now, there was a lot of rumors over the last few days, and it really intensified yesterday, that there was a chance that the Eagles were going to trade up to get Mitchell. That would have pissed me off. I did not want to trade up for a corner at all, and I especially did not want to trade up for a corner from the MAC conference. Look, I hope that next season, 2024 coming in, we are loaded at corner at this point. But going into 2025, I am hoping that our outside corners are Quinton Mitchell and Isaiah Rodgers. Okay? That's the pie in this. That's what you want. That's what you drafted this kid for. That's what you took the chance on Isaiah Rodgers for, even though with the suspension. So that's what we're looking ahead to. Now,
You didn't look too thrilled about that pick. It's like goes the run on the D tackle.
I still can't get over to Florida 7.
I'm trying to hope it, like,
I was expecting more from you guys. There's the prom kids walking through. It is a busy night up here at the Back Porch, so if you're struggling to hear me, I do apologize. I hope I'm loud enough. Let me know if you're struggling to hear me at all. I'll see if I can tweak this a little bit. We are at pick number 36, and the Commodes take Jerzon Newton, defensive tackle from Illinois. So this is a guy that they looked at as possible first-round talent. There was actually a couple of mock drafts I saw that had the Eagles taking him at the 22nd pick. I'm glad we didn't. I couldn't imagine a world where we spent 3 straight first-round picks on defensive tackles. That would have been a little egregious. But the kid makes plays. I mean, Big Ten Conference stands out on Illinois. I'm not a big fan of the Illinois football team, although that's where Sidney Brown came from.
I'm watching your games on the beach.
So on the clock now is the New England Patriots at 37. They, of course, took Drake May, their quarterback of the future, with the number 3 pick last night. Last night's top 10, aside from the Falcons, really didn't surprise anyone. Did it surprise any of you? Because it certainly didn't surprise me. Top of the draft, and the fact that they take the entire 10 minutes, I mean, how freaking annoying is that? Like, And I tweeted about it. I posted about it last night. And the Bears took the full 10 minutes just to wait to tell us what everyone in the nation already knew. And then, of course, the Commodes came up next and did the same exact thing. And they took the LSU game. So the top 10 didn't shock me. The only shock was the Falcons with Michael Penix. He had Williams, and then the kid from LSU, and then Drake May third, fourth. I guess somewhat of a surprise was that there was no trade. And that's either because the teams that were sitting there felt like they couldn't trade out and still get what they needed, or somebody wasn't willing to give up enough to get into one of those spots. And really, to me, if you're looking to draft a quarterback, if you couldn't get into that top three, it was not worth giving up all that capital to get in anywhere else. But look, even the Vikings, they traded up one spot with the Jets, and to me, they gave up too much. For J.J. McCarthy. And we'll get to McCarthy here in just a minute. I want to talk about him for a minute.
I was at that 2015.
Yeah, so Williams and then and LSU. And why his name is escaping me, I don't know. Drake May goes third. Marvin Harrison Jr. goes fourth to Arizona. Picks 4, 5, and 6, and unfortunately, 6 is the Giants. But I think picks 4, 5, and 6 might have been the smartest three that I saw last night, at least early on. So Arizona stands pat at 4. They don't trade down. They take the best player in the most dynamic player in the draft in Marvin Harrison Jr. to give their midget quarterback someone to throw to. And no, Kyler Murray still can't reach the Crispix. And then at number 5, the Chargers come up, and they lost a lot on the offensive side this year. You could have made an argument that they should have taken Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze and given and gotten another target for their young quarterback out there. But they went with offensive tackle Joe Alt, who, in my mind, while Marvin Harrison Jr. was easily maybe not easily, but definitely, in my mind, the best overall player in the draft, I think the safest pick in the draft was Joe Alt. That guy, and Dave Conant and I talked about it earlier, and he's actually the one that made the comparison. He's got like John Runyon type of comparisons on him. You know, he's got 12-year All-Pro written all over him. And he's now going to a team with a quarterback, Justin Herbert, who is not a scrambling quarterback. So he does not have to adjust the way he pass blocks. He can just mush because he's there to defend a normal pocket. And he is going to be, but no, barring injury, he will be a top of the league offensive tackle literally for his entire career. He is an absolute stud. And then at number 6, you had the Giants. I was really hoping you guys, some of you have been with me for the 2 years we've been doing this. You know that I was at the draft in 2019 in Nashville, which was the last time the Giants had the number 6 pick. And they took Daniel Jones. And I laughed, and I told my friend that I was with that we could go to a bar because it was raining and getting chilly and she was getting cold. Because I didn't need to see anything past that. The Eagles, we were picking way down, and I didn't want to make her sit out the rain. There was a lot of rumor and a lot of thought that the Giants might either trade up to 4 or sit at 6 and take a quarterback because they're not sold on Daniel Jones. Oh, big shock, you're not sold on Daniel Jones. I wasn't. Look, I don't like quarterbacks from basketball colleges, okay? I'm not trying to say that North Carolina and Duke haven't produced any NFL talent. What I'm trying to say is they haven't produced an NFL quarterback worth a shit. All right? And that includes Daniel Jones. So ultimately they did not. They ended up going with Malik Neighbors to give Daniel Jones an actual target, something he's not had literally his entire time. What he had? Did he have OBJ early on? I don't even freaking remember. But they go get Malik Neighbors, and unfortunately, it's actually a smart pick. To me, it was either that, an offensive tackle, or trade down. I'm sorry, John. I don't fight midgets.
I don't want to take you outside, make you that concrete.
Good luck.
Make sure that the camera heard it.
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
Old enough to stomp your ass.
Yeah. You want to see another birthday? I'd shut my mouth. One of my friends over here, John, we're always talking shit to each other. It's a good time. He likes to tell Big John over here to shut his fucking mouth.
Yeah,
too,
all the time. Good God.
What? Did those sunglasses come in guys?
Yeah, they're right.
You do for the rest.
Yeah, they're right here. Douchebag.
Real original.
So the Giants take Malik Neighbors. To me, it was either that, Roma Dunze, trade down, or take an offensive tackle. I mean, you had to do something there. You're stuck with Jones for another year because his cap hit is too big to let go of. You guys all saw that meme a while ago. It was before the Devontae contract and before the A.J. Brown deal yesterday, where Daniel Jones hit on the Giants' cap. His debt is 47.1, where at that point, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert all totaled like $46 million. So, we've had some fun with the Daniel Jones thing, but ultimately they did make a good call. They got him a target. I'm not happy that they made a good call. I was really hoping they would screw it up. They didn't. And then at number 7, of course, the Titans come in and they take another tackle. No shock there. And then you get to number 8. And what the actual hell the Atlanta Falcons were thinking, taking Michael Penix Jr., I don't know. They signed Kirk Cousins to this huge free agent deal when he's about to be 36 years old. And then they go and they draft Michael Penix Jr., who honestly, they probably could have traded back a couple of picks and still gotten Penix and increased their draft capital. I don't know if it was a panic move or whatever, but they took him. And now you have the Kirk Cousins camp coming out all day today, and they're pissed. They're absolutely pissed off. All you did there was you told Kirk Cousins that, hey, you're only here for 2 years, buddy. Right? At most. If Penix proves to be decent and we can move your contract before that, you are gone. Right? So Kirk Cousins. So take a look at Kirk Cousins. So he starts his career in Washington. You guys remember this is when they were still the Redskins, right? They take RG3, much to the dismay of Mike Shanahan, who then demands that they draft Kirk Cousins. So they take both quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins starts his career behind RG3. RG3 blows his knee out. Shanahan didn't like him, kept playing him, did so much damage to the knee that it basically ended his career. He ends up in Baltimore. Baltimore drafts Lamar Jackson. And that's the end of RG3. Kirk Cousins moves on to Minnesota, and he has been basically fleecing the league with his salary for like a decade. This dude, if he plays out the length of that contract, I think the number is somewhere around $300 million that he will have made without even sniffing a Super Bowl. Not even sniffing it. But so now it comes full circle. Though, right? So you start out behind RG3. Now you come back around and you sign the big free agent deal. You're the guy, and they draft Michael Penix. Mind you, this is
Throw money away.
Yeah. I mean, the Atlanta team's got talent. It does. Drake London is a good wide receiver. Kyle Pitts, I think if he had half a quarterback thrown to him, could be decent. And I still think Bijan Robinson's a good running back.
You said before they're throwing money.
So they brought in a quarterback who can get them the ball. Don't get me wrong. Kirk Cousins puts up great regular season numbers. He's like Tony Romo. Great regular season numbers. Turn the lights on bright, and he sucks. Right? He's not a primetime quarterback. He's not a playoff quarterback. He ain't shit. But his career comes full circle now, which I find, as far as that goes, I find it hysterical.
It's phenomenal.
Then we get to the other one where, for some reason,
They're like, hey, you don't want to trade.
Minnesota felt like they had to swap picks with the Jets to get J.J. McCarthy. Now, Dave kind of brought up a good point when him and I talked this afternoon.
You literally put it on the plate.
Maybe it's not so much the fear of the – because some of the thought might have been, hey, Aaron Rodgers may only have one more year. The Jets may take a quarterback. Possibly. But Dave brought up a good point, and maybe they were just concerned the Jets would trade that pick to someone else, like the Las Vegas Raiders. Who, once again, can we have a moment of silence for the Las Vegas Raiders and all the Jets? Can we do that again? I've got Big John stitches on. I am a total ass. That's why I have this podcast. They let me do this because I'm an ass, not because I'm a nice person.
For real.
But so they trade up to get McCarthy, and I wanted to talk McCarthy for a minute. So this is a quarterback at Michigan who did not throw the ball that much. You're talking like there were very few times when he threw the ball more than 25 times a game. He's handing the ball up like Corum. Corum left, Corum right, Corum up the middle, yada, yada, yada. As a matter of fact, against Penn State, just this past season, they completely took the ball out of J.J. McCarthy's hands. And all they did was hand the ball up the entire second half. Now, unfortunately for us Penn State fans, we couldn't stop it. Doesn't change the fact we just traded the pick. So we just traded up with Washington. We are at number 40 now. Birds on the clock, and the pick is in. All right, let's see what we got here. We're going to hold on in suspense. It's kind of what I was hoping for while we were doing this.
I don't like Brad.
This has got to be linebacker. It's got to be linebacker.
Inside lines. We need it.
It's got to be line. It's got to be one of these two dudes. It has to be.
All right, hit that again.
Junior Colson or Jackson Powers Johnson? Who's it going to be?
Junior. Come on, Junior.
Pick is in. Who's it going to be? Who do you guys think it's going to be? Better be good. Fanny says better be good.
Hey, you got Junior or no? I think they're going Junior.
Let's see. They went to commercial, so we'll give it a couple. So back to J.J. McCarthy. Doesn't throw the ball. Hands the ball off all the time. And somehow, and even if you look at the national championship game against Washington, him and Penix were both, not that Penix was bad. McCarthy was just kind of average. Nothing spectacular. And from that point to now, till yesterday, that kid managed to increase his draft stock so drastically.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That he became this huge commodity in the first round.
It has to be one of them two. We have to take one of them.
I have not seen a quarterback improve his stock by doing nothing but networking that much since Mark Sanchez did it. You guys remember Sanchez? He was looked at as an end of the first round, maybe a second round pick, maybe mid-first round at most. And somehow ended up being the fourth pick in the draft.
I don't know why it is, but
now granted, it was the Jets that took this. But he managed to improve it that much. Hey, does anybody have what we gave up? Does anybody have what we gave up to move up to there? Did we give up both second rounders?
It didn't show.
I don't know what we gave up.
Yep.
I need to know what we gave up, damn it. No, I would give up like number 50 and like a seventh rounder. Look. Still waiting for the pick here. But yeah, McCarthy has improved his draft stock that much by doing nothing. I don't want to hear about pro days and all this stuff. There's no way he went from what I saw in Michigan to that high of a pick in the draft. Unless, like we talk about week in and week out, the whole league has gone absolutely quarterback crazy. 6 quarterbacks in the top 12 went off the board.
Top 12.
6 in the top 12. The top 3. Caleb Williams.
That's stupid.
Kid from LSU. Drake May.
There has to be a record.
Penix, McCarthy, and Bo Nix.
In the top 12.
In the top 12.
That's what I'm saying. That has to be a record.
Yeah. And can we have another moment of silence for the Las Vegas Raiders fans and their fan, Las Vegas Raiders and their fan base?
I'm like, I like
who
it.
had to be just as shocked as the rest of us that the Atlanta Falcons took Michael Penix at number 8 overall. I mean, I just don't understand the logic. But I don't have to. I don't have to live with it. Michael Penix Jr. If you guys remember Michael Penix Jr. when he came out, he was at Indiana. And he was dynamic. He had a good arm. Was a little erratic because he was young, but he could run. He could move. And then he's blown out his knees left and right. Here we go. Here comes the pick.
Oh, come on, good.
That's last night. We met that guy. Remember we met him in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did they get?
Don't know yet. Still coming. We moved way up. So that's it. We moved way up. That's 10 picks. That's a 10-pick jump. Who's it going to be?
It's been in for the last.
It's been in. They had to go to commercial because,
They did it on purpose.
of course they did, because they know we're sitting here waiting for it. Scumbags.
All right, when this is done, I'm gonna
So the pick is in. Let's get the commissioner out on stage and boo his ass one more time. Yeah, I don't. You can't give up 2 second-round picks for this. You can't.
Wait, what did he pick?
Oh, it's BG. BG on the stage to announce the pick. All right.
I thought that's who they picked.
Is it Michigan? Is that why they brought
That
him out?
might be Junior Colson with the 40th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Philadelphia Eagles select. Come on, damn it. Announce the pick. We're all waiting in
Is that
suspense
why they
here.
brought him out? Is because he's
It might be
Michigan
because
guy?
it's a Michigan thing, yeah.
Yep.
I love that suit jacket there. PG out there doing his thing. On his farewell tour, by the way. All right, BG, let's wrap it up here. I want to kind of shut up, Doug! Get out of here.
Knew that.
Prescott takes it up the ass. Doo-da, doo-da. Who is it?
All right, BG,
Who's it
shut
gonna
up.
be?
Stop talking. Let's
Come on,
go.
I'm sorry for the dead air here, folks, but this is kind of big. We moved up. Oh! Cooper DeJean! Wow! Holy crap on a cracker, dude. Oh my God! Is that his little brother?
He's still a hell of a football player.
How old
I
is
give it to you. Huh?
They are gonna. Hey, you know what they're gonna do with him? They're gonna convert him to a safety.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Oh, like
what's gonna
Blankenship?
happen.
Yep.
Blankenship needs to put on 20 pounds and become a linebacker. So Cooper DeJean is our pick. That's the guy I kind of wanted in the first round. And you just heard me say it.
Michigan.
You just heard me say it. That is going to be, they're going to turn him into a safety. The whole word on Cooper DeJean coming into the draft is that he could play both. He is going to play safety on this Philadelphia Eagles team. Yeah, and he is a ball hawk. He hits like a Mack truck. I'm excited about this. You want to talk about upgrading your secondary in a huge way in 2 nights?
That's a first-round talent.
There's no doubt. No doubt. Cooper DeJean, get back to work.
Yes, have some.
He's too busy. So Cooper DeJean is going to be our next safety. That's basically what that's telling you. I don't really blame Howie for trading up. The kid was still sitting there, and he can do this. For those of you that don't know, he can return punts too, which gives us some depth there in case little fella gets hurt. Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. My audience here calls him that mustard-colored kid.
He's 21 years old. He looks like he's 12.
Oh yeah, he's.
21 years old. I called
So
it.
does anybody know what?
I said he
Hey.
has to be like 21.
Does anybody know what we gave up?
I haven't said yet. Look.
All right, I need to know what the hell we
As
gave
I
up.
said, they didn't post it.
The fuck did we give up?
Well, we give up.
And it's got to be the number 50 pick and something else, obviously. But it can't be 50 and 53. That would piss me off. They can't do that. You just can't do
You
that.
can't give away the 53. I hope
You can't give up 50 and 53. That can't happen. All right, Saints pick is in. Oh, they don't make the Saints wait. They keep us sitting there. Bit in the ass. So there you go. What did I miss in the room over here?
They just swap. That's the only thing I got.
It's a pick swap?
They just swap.
So we took 40 and they took 53? No, we had to give them
I
something
know,
else.
that's what I'm reading.
That's a 10-pick jump. We had to give up something else. There's no way. There goes Kool-Aid. I kind of wanted that kid. The marketability of a kid named Kool-Aid in Philly. I mean, come on, dude. Right? He makes a big tackle and you just see the Kool-Aid man come through. Oh, yeah! David said it in the room. What did he say?
They gave up 78.
So there it is. Yeah. So one of my friends, Dave, said the same thing. You gave up the 50th and 53rd and the 5th? No way. No way.
It's not the 50.
No way. That can't be right. There's no way we gave up 3 picks to move up to 40. You got to be kidding me. No, it's his nickname. His name is JaQuincy McKinstry. So he needed a nickname, and they chose Kool-Aid. Right.
The one thing I gotta say is Kool-Aid has faced way better talent than the other cats. Not even close.
All right. So, everybody want to jump in?
One of my first nicknames.
Chicken shit. No? No takers?
Nope.
Everybody's just over there chilling? All right. Dave says you picked up 2 other picks as well. I need the full details.
What
I
other
gotta
picks
find
did
it.
you
I don't
pick
know.
up?
That's what I don't know. I don't know what the hell that is. So, pardon me, guys, but I'm gonna have to look this up myself.
Oh. And 161.
Eagles.
We got 40, 78, 152.
I know.
What did we do?
They gave up 50 and 53.
And we got 40.
78, 152.
All right. Well, we got a first-round talent out of it,
Yeah.
you know, and he's gonna play safety. There's no question about it.
He's the day one starter.
Uh-huh.
He's the
Yeah.
day one starter.
No question about it.
So our 53 is gone.
53 is gone, so we're done for the night, basically. Or where does 78 fall?
That third
Is
round?
that third round?
Third round.
Yeah. So we got one more coming, but it's going to be late. We won't be on. So there you go. Howie does his magic again, moves up, grabs a first-round talent in the second round. Still gets us back some draft capital. Guys, and especially for all of you sitting here, I know there's a little bit of like, oh, man, we don't have that 53rd pick. You build your team. You take your studs in the first and second round. You build your team in rounds 3 through 5. And then you take your chances in round 6 and 7. That's how it works, right? So we've still got a third-round pick. So we swapped. So basically, we swapped second-round picks, and then traded a second for a third.
Yep.
And got Cooper DeJean, and
They moved up a little bit.
we moved up a little in the third. Okay, I mean, you know what? That's just Howie being Howie.
Don't get me wrong.
So here's the official. It's
We need someone that can fill.
50, 53, and 161 for 40, 78, and 152.
That's what he did with us.
All right,
He was the first one every time.
there you go.
He would read it and he'd fill the gap.
All right, Midwest Eagles Nest.
Yes, sir.
Any of y'all want to come online? Or are we too scared? You want to hop in? You want to hop in the passenger seat?
Got one.
Oh, we got a ringer here. Come on in and introduce yourself to the Green Legion audience, brother. Here, we'll shift this over, get a nice view of the emergency exit. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
John Lynch.
John Lynch. So you started hanging out with us this past year, right?
One time,
One
one
time.
game, and we lost.
And we lost.
Cardinals
Bad
game.
luck.
Cardinals
Okay.
game.
Right, you guys are welcome to give them shit. So here's the room over here. It's a small ditch audience that I have on Friday nights, but a good room. They're good people. So give me your thoughts on Quinny Mitchell first.
Love it. First round talent. Love it. I love it. The draft came to the Eagles. They didn't panic. They didn't jump up. I thought they would panic and move up to
Would that
go.
have pissed you off? If we traded up to get a corner, would it have pissed you off?
I thought they were going to trade to get a lineman,
That's where I was at.
and they didn't. They didn't. They
Which I was
didn't.
okay with.
Yes, so was
But
I.
don't trade up for a corner.
No.
When there's 5 first-round talents.
Exactly. I thought they were going to move up for a lineman. When I saw the linemen start getting plaqued, I was like, okay. And he fell right. That's who they fell right to him.
So would you have taken Mitchell or would you? So granted, no corners have come off the board. Would you have taken Mitchell or would you have taken Jerry and Arnold?
Mitchell.
It's the jalapeno habanero.
Mitchell,
Like,
yes.
Why? So give me the reason why Mitchell over Arnold.
Because he locked down Marvin Harrison in the Senior Bowl.
Locked
Locked
down
him
Marvin
down.
Harrison in the Senior Bowl. So one film clip.
Just look at
Who's
it.
Mitchell against week to week?
Well,
I'm not arguing. I'm just stating-
I'm just saying. Look at his highlight tape. It's every. He can play zone. He can play man, and he can play press.
I agree.
So-
And Terry and Arnold can do the same thing.
Well, I think so
Arnold
too.
Up against NFL talent.
Yes, I agree.
He's lined up across Malik Neighbors.
Oh, I agree. I agree. But he's fast. I like Mitchell. He's long, lengthy.
6'1", 195. He's not a small guy. Hits
I
like a
liked
truck
it.
at the corner position.
And I think the Eagles like him too. A lot more.
We
A lot
saw
more.
the rumors yesterday early.
Well, I thought they were going to trade
They
for
were
him.
going to trade up.
Yeah.
And I was getting angry. You don't have to trade up to do that.
No,
Somebody will be there. Let's fine with Kool-Aid. I'd have been okay with Kool-Aid.
I would have been okay with Cooper DeJean in 22. So
And lo and behold, we get both.
we got both of them. And
I mean,
I
how the hell Cooper DeJean fall in? What happened?
well,
Is this more indicative of the league being so addicted to offense? They can't help themselves.
yes. And did he get hurt in the senior year? Did he
He
get
had,
hurt?
he had
He had an injury?
Yeah. But he also showed really well in his pro day.
Yeah.
He can play two positions,
Yeah.
plus return punts.
Yeah.
The kid, he's going to play safety.
He's going to play safety. He's going to play safety.
We're too deep at corner.
No. I mean, yeah, we are. We're real deep. I love Keely Ringo. So, I mean,
I like Ringo.
and
I like Eli Ricks too.
I like Ricks too. And Josh Jobe, I like him also.
And I like bringing back Avonte Maddox at a reduced rate. Because he
Well,
can't stand the corner.
The one that is going to be a stud to me is the guy that they just got reinstated.
Isaiah Rodgers.
I think he's going to be.
He's got a bone to pick. And
Yes.
that's Brian, and he
I
must
think
improve.
he's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm hoping that comes 2025, our starting on the outside is Isaiah Rodgers and Quentin Mitchell.
Yes.
With Cooper DeJean and Sidney Jones.
Yes. Sidney Brown. Yes.
So then I realized.
And
Why the fuck do I keep saying Sidney Jones?
I don't know.
Over the all during the year too. Sidney Jones.
Hey, I have a question for you. Do
Yes.
you think Howie's going to trade up?
Oh,
I don't
Howie's
think
not
he's
done.
done.
Howie's not done.
Howie's never done.
Howie's not
like,
done.
something's up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that Michigan kid's going to last.
He won't be there that way.
Yeah.
So if he wants that linebacker,
If he wants a linebacker, I'd be okay with North Carolina State's linebacker. He's really good. I think it's Preston Wilson. I think is his name. And Kentucky's linebacker is really good. I forget
I
his
want that
name.
kid from Texas A&M.
Well, I wanted him too.
Want him.
But I mean, you got a first round talent at number 40. That is a day one starter in my book. Day one starter. So
You got two day one starts.
yes.
With the 22nd
Yes.
and 40th pick.
So if they cut Bradbury,
You can't
Bro.
cut Bradbury. This is
Well-
where he's getting mixed up. You know what his dead cap hit is, right?
well, no, pre-June 1st, you can.
His dead cap hit is $17.2 million.
Well, then you can't cut him.
you can't cut him.
And you
That's
can't-
why it's the only reason why he's still on the roster.
Yeah, and then you can't trade
So
him
the
either,
hope
so.
is that you can move him off of the outside.
Yeah,
And Rodgers,
yeah.
Mitchell,
Yeah.
somebody steps into that role, and now maybe Bradbury just kind of flounders around and shares time with Maddox.
Yeah.
in the slot spot.
Yeah.
That's the idea. Because you can't get rid of him. It's going to cost you way too much.
Yeah, it'll cost you way too much.
17.2 dead cap is not a hit that anybody wants.
No, not it.
Especially
No.
How he's too
No.
smart for that.
Yeah, he is too smart. I will say though, I do like the Huff signing.
You like the Huff.
I
son.
like Huff.
Were you upset about losing
Reddick?
Reddick?
No, I
That
wasn't.
price tag.
No, I
No.
wasn't.
I wasn't going to
upset.
pay. I wouldn't have paid him either.
No.
I would not have paid him.
But
that
then it
price
also
tag.
tells you this: that Vic Fangio is calling some shots.
Which he
About
should be.
freaking time
Yeah.
that is
Nick
able to do
Sirianni
that.
should not be calling.
No,
shots.
you got Fangio in there. That's why you brought him in there to run.
You brought in a defensive coordinator who's a veteran, who, if you had to dismiss Sirianni at some
Yeah.
point, can step in. You
Yeah.
also brought in an offensive coordinator
Yes.
who's young and has been rumored as possible head coach
Yeah.
material.
Well, interviewed for the Eagles head coaching position.
So,
So-
you have guys there
Yeah,
that are ready and willing, which
Yeah.
I love.
so do
Last
I.
year, so, I mean, look, going into last year, they let Nick make the decision. And
Yeah.
he had earned it.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl run, he had totally earned it.
Well,
But he made horrible decisions.
to me, it's a fireable offense. You switch D coordinators in the middle of a 10-1 season or 10-2.
We talked about that at length on this show and with our group. And
That's a fireable offense in my book.
it was pretty bad.
Well, I thought that the front office made that call, but no, that was Nick that
So
made
the
that
front
call.
office wanted to promote Denard Wilson to defensive coordinator.
Should have.
Howie and Jeff wanted to do that.
They should have done that.
Nick wanted to decide. They let Nick make the
Yeah,
decision.
which
Rightfully so.
yeah,
At
I
that
mean he
point.
has
Let
the
him
choice
choose.
to. Yeah,
He just went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Let him make the choice.
Yeah.
It was a bad decision.
I would have promoted Denard Wilson also.
In a fucking way.
Yeah,
And what happens? He goes and becomes the Ravens,
yeah, and they do well.
and they're the full threat pass defense
Yeah.
of fucking football. Meanwhile, we can't cover the middle. Of the
No,
field.
we can't cover anybody. Watching the games, and I'm like, why are they so wide open? What is going on here?
I'm just thankful that wasn't my TV at home. Because I might have smashed it. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a bad year.
but
Now you have the two coordinators in here. Right? The offense is low.
oh, it's loaded. I would draft rest all defense. The rest of the draft. Rest all
I want
defense.
some offensive line depth.
Why?
I would just lost Kelsey.
Well, I think you can get that free agent,
But you don't have the money.
No. Like the free agent. Like free agent drafts, you know, you have
The undrafted free
yes,
agents.
undrafted. You have the best O-line coach in football that can develop.
Scotland University
So-
is the thing, man.
So I think they look at that also, to where they can do that.
I can see that.
You
You can't go full on free agent because you can't afford it.
No. I meant the undrafted.
But you
And
got to get depth there for two reasons. One, Kelsey's gone.
yes,
So now you're going to move.
I
You're going to move what's his name over
I
to
think
center.
Tyler Steen's a player. I really do.
Steen is a player.
I think he is. I
But don't
think
forget
he's
Lane Johnson. Tick tock, tick tock.
well.
That's coming.
He said that he wanted to play through his contract. That's 3 years.
I get it.
So you can.
This is also a guy who went through some depression issues, had some,
Yes,
and had
yes.
some injury problems.
Yes, I see that.
So what I've always said, have you seen since we drafted him? Have you seen what our record is when he's not on the field?
Oh, it's awful.
We're 14.
Oh, that's terrible. So I do think that they might pick. I think they'll maybe get an O lineman. They're going to get an O lineman
They're gonna get-
somewhere. That's what they do.
I'm very surprised.
But I was
How
too.
he builds from the trenches out.
Yes.
And to see two secondary dudes,
That means that your D coordinator is saying, "Hey,
we're
we
recognizing
need
problems
to
here.
get these
we
guys.
got to fix this.
Yes.
This is a fucking problem.
We got to get.
Massive problem.
He's a first round talent. If we can go up and grab him, we need to get him."
And still keep some draft capital behind it.
See, I told my son, who is his birthday tomorrow, big Eagle fan, like I am, was supposed to come out but had something to do. So I told him, I said, they're going to get Cooper DeJean somehow. And he looked at me and he goes, "Why do you want him, Dad?" I was like,
Because he's a hybrid.
I said, "Because he's a football
You know
player."
that puts two hybrids on our team.
Yes.
You know that CJ Gardner Johnson can
Yes.
play both positions.
I said, I want dudes that are players. I want guys that can play football.
I'm getting pretty excited about what the back end of that defense
So
is
am
gonna
I.
look like
So am
now.
I. Which was awful last
And
year.
we've already got the up front. The problem is still the middle.
Yeah.
The middle's still there.
They need
don't
some-
have that linebacker.
they need some
I like the
linebackers.
Devin White side.
So do I.
I like it.
Change of scenery helps a lot of people.
He had
I
worn
think.
out his welcome.
I think a change of scenery
I
helps
did
a
a
lot of
show
people.
a few weeks back with my friend Brian, who lives in Tampa. He's a Bengals fan. He's from here. His buddy was over, who's a Tampa fan. He's from Tampa.
Yeah.
He came onto the screen and he gave us kind of a rundown on how Devin White kind of wore out his welcome
Yeah.
with the Bucks
Yeah.
in that town.
Yeah.
And needed to get out. So 1 year, $7.5 million contract.
Well, it's
It's a mercenary contract.
Yeah.
Prove it, kid.
prove it. Let's go.
And then you'll be rewarded.
Yeah.
I love mercenary.
I think he's gonna be a player.
I
really
love
do.
it. I love it, but I think we need more.
So do I. I really do. I think we need more.
Because
I-
Fangio, you know what he does? He gets after the quarterback, but it's zone behind that.
Yes.
So, which is where Mitchell makes sense. because
Yes.
he's
No, you're
versatile in that.
Well,
he's
I
actually
also-
better as a zone corner than he is.
I think Jordan Davis is gonna have a monster year.
Jordan Davis needs to.
This is gonna be his proving.
So he disappeared after the Buffalo game.
Yes.
Granted, the whole game disappeared.
After he made that one
He
run,
was- the entire second half
Yes.
of that Buffalo game,
I
he
think-
was a one-man wrecking.
I think he's gonna have a big year. I love Jalen Carter.
I've been calling them the law for him with Carter.
Yes.
That's
Well, and I also think you watch games and you watch all the games and you watch Milt Williams makes plays when he's in the game. So now he's gonna, I know you got Cox gone. Now
That's
you got
okay.
Milt Williams. Now you have, I think that D line's gonna be good.
I love Milt.
So do I.
He works.
So do I. He makes plays every time he's in the game. And my son has told me. My son has said, Milt Williams makes plays, Dan.
He's a ball
I said, I know he does.
That guy's a player, man.
Because
like him.
I also
He
think
just keeps getting better every year.
I also think that he saw that. You remember the draft when Howie went to shake the one dude's hand and he wouldn't shake it after the Milt Williams draft?
Yeah.
If they showed a war room, I think that got in his head. Like, Milt Williams, like, well, that dude, they didn't want me at first.
Right? No.
So I love him. I think he's a great player.
I like
He makes
him.
plays.
He does.
He makes plays.
He does his job, dude. And he knows he's a backup.
Yes.
He knows he's a backup.
But now he's
full,
going to get
it's a
more.
full-on rotation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think there's room for another defensive tackler to join that rotation.
Which they signed a kid at a Penn State. I forget his name. I think he can be a good rotational
Hey,
piece.
man, if he's just a deep rotation guy,
I think he can. I think he can be
the
a
law
good.
firm needs to be the deal.
Yes.
Huff has got to get his pressure from the outside.
Which I love that signing, and a lot of people don't like that
You know
signing.
who's got to step up big this year? It's the reason why we drafted him was so that we could not
Nolan
pay
Smith?
Nolan Smith.
Yes.
And the reason he was drafted was so that we didn't have to pay
Yes.
Reddick. And nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
I got attacked for it all over the
Didn't-
place. I got attacked for it everywhere. He's not Reddick. I'm not saying he's Reddick. I'm saying he was drafted to step into
Yes.
that role so that we didn't have to give $25 million a year
Reddick.
to an edge rusher.
That's going to turn
Because if you
31.
want to- right.
Turn
Because
31.
If you want to keep Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and all these guys, you can't pay an edge rusher $25 million.
Yes.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So everyone who I got attacked, I just look at it like, you play the Madden football game, with fucking salary cap turned off.
Yeah.
That's what you do. 'Cause
Yeah.
You have no understanding of how this
No,
works.
you can't. You can. You drafted him. He's on a rookie deal. Let's go.
And it's his time.
Let's go.
And they drafted him because he was that mold. He's not a huge guy. He's a speed rusher from the outside.
So tough, and that's who I wanted from day one in free agency.
Those two
I
on the
wanted
edges,
Huff.
Yeah, those two on the edges, Brandon Graham rotating around,
Yeah.
and the law firm in the middle.
Yeah.
With Milton Williams behind that.
Yeah.
Now just give me some linebacker depth
Yeah.
that can do something in there.
And I'm go. Let's go.
And I am excited about this second.
So am I. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. So I'm
You're
still
gonna start seeing coverage sacks again.
I'm still shocked with Cooper DeJean, but you
So
know
am
what?
I.
He's a
I'm
first round
excited.
talent. He's a first round
When
talent.
we traded up, I thought for sure it was going to be a linebacker. I just did. I thought it was going to be one of these two kids.
But then I'm sitting there thinking like they don't draft linebackers in the second round. They just don't do it.
It's two positions that Howie does not invest
They
in
do
high
not.
draft capital or high dollars in.
Yes.
Running back and linebacker.
They
I'm
did what-
shocked by Parker.
I was shocked too.
But here's the deal with Parker. Keep in mind, salary cap just went up $30 million. And take a look at the draft pool of running backs.
Yeah.
It's sauce.
But
There's nobody in that draft.
they would have
Barkley wasn't the only one that got paid.
no.
A bunch of them got paid.
They would have drafted McCaffrey in that draft, and McCaffrey fell to him. They feel like Barkley's a McCaffrey, even though I don't think he is. But
So dynamic.
they are so
I believe Saquon Barkley, when healthy,
could be, but now he's got an offensive line that I still think is number one in football. As much as people say Kelsey's gone,
I get
they
it.
still are
There's
good.
going to be a huge adjustment. That
They
the
still
brotherly shove. I'm sorry to break to everyone, is not going to be nearly the same thing without Kelsey. There, it's just
no.
you're going to have to run different variations out of it.
They might not even use it. They might not.
I would use it.
I still
But
would, but
I would run
Yes.
fakes and shit out of it. I
Yeah.
would make it goofy.
yeah, so would I.
But then look at Barkley. So Barkley's been pinned up with the freaking Giants.
I mean,
No
terrible.
wide receivers.
No wide
Horrible
receivers.
quarterback.
Horrible
Horrible
quarterback.
offensive line.
Horrible.
He's the only guy. So you just stack the box.
Yeah.
You try to do that against us and single cover those two fucking maniacs on the
Well,
outside?
and then you got Goddard running seam routes down the middle. Oh, yeah.
Who are you covering?
Exactly.
A.J. Brown, statistically speaking, over the last 2 seasons, is the number one receiver in football against single coverage.
Yes.
Receptions, yards, and touchdowns.
Yes.
And while he's a swole Batman,
Yeah.
6'1", 230,
Yeah.
25, 230, I still think Devontae Smith is
He's
the
gonna be there
most
to watch
talented
the
wide
game.
receiver on that roster.
Yes, because he's a great route runner, and he's a
And I'm not
great
saying
route
AJ
runner.
doesn't run good
Well,
routes.
I'm not saying that either, but
I'm just saying AJ does more to try to out. He just
yes, he
relies more
out-physical
on
you, 50-50 balls, stuff like
Whereas
that.
Devontae doesn't. The only thing he
No.
doesn't have is physical. But the way the routes he runs, his athleticism, and if you watch him, the way he's able to contort his body
Yeah.
to not only make the catch, keep his feet in, but also not take the big hit.
Yes.
He knows he can't take it.
Yes.
The way he's able to control his body,
Yeah.
he is the most skilled wide
Yes.
receiver on that roster.
I love both of them. I think
So
they're
do I.
great players.
I think it's the best 1-2 punch in football.
Yeah.
Now, you can make Chase and Higgins have their argument, but Higgins may not be a thing.
No.
Um,
He wants out. So
he wants out.
He wants
so does
out.
Hendrickson,
Henderson wants out too.
which is a shock.
It's a shock too.
Like, look, if that quarterback, and not to get off the Eagles here, but like,
That's
you
what
look
the
at the
Bengals.
Bengals.
That's what the Bengals do. They don't pay their guys. They don't.
Get
They
it,
don't.
but like, if you look at that team and you look at that quarterback, if Joe Burrow's healthy, which I get is a huge if he's healthy, you are contending for a Super Bowl every year.
Oh, yeah.
You're the only team in football that has Patrick Mahomes' number.
Yeah.
You're 3-1 in your last 4 against him.
Yeah.
A couple of them in his house, one of them in the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
And you want out?
Yeah.
Both of you dumb
Yeah.
motherfuckers?
It went out. That's why I love
Apparently winning doesn't matter.
the Birds organization. They take care of their players, and they just take care of it. So
But I don't think Howie pulls any punches. I think when he brings in running backs, and he brings in linebackers, and he brings in even safety is not a high priority for him most of the time.
no,
I think he tells them, this is our model here.
this is what we do.
This is what we do.
This is what we
If you
do.
want to stay on this team in that position, you don't have a great year, but you are going to take less to stay.
Yeah.
Because we're going to pay this guy, this guy, this guy.
Or we'll renegotiate you down the road, and we work contracts.
How about the
How we
AJ
do.
Brown deal yesterday?
Awesome.
Right before the
Awesome.
draft. Yes!
Awesome. Now he's here for 5 more years. I love it. You got Devontae and
Which is really
AJ.
good.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love every bit of it.
You just
So-
keep trying to keep that window open for as long as you
Yeah.
can. You know who else has no excuses this year, though?
Hurts. Jalen. Let's go.
Look, the play calling was shit last year. I get it. The play designs were bad.
They were awful.
The only thing that doesn't give him an excuse for it is the fumbles.
Yes.
Play calling does not make you fumble.
No. I want to see him run more. I want to see him run more. He didn't run
I
last
still
year.
think there was a need for
So do I.
Worse than
I think there
you
was.
let on.
I think so too.
And I think he was gutting it out just because that's who the fuck he is.
Yeah. He's a gamer, and I like him. So, 2nd-round pick. So, I was shocked when they drafted him that year. I was like,
shocked.
it's like the Falcons doing what they. I was like, why are you
Oh, that I
drafting?
couldn't believe that.
Why are you drafting Hurts in the
That was
2nd
nuts.
round?
That
But
was nuts.
I know why they did it. So, hey, he's our quarterback. So,
He's our quarterback.
Yep.
He is our QB1, and I call it #Hurts culture. And, look, a lot of people get annoyed by how he's kind of stoic, unemotional, blah blah. And
yeah.
I think there's a benefit to that. I want the leader of my team to be an adult
Yes.
and not be yelling and screaming with his hair on fire.
Yeah.
But every so often, I want him to pick up a chair. And
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want
I
him to kick somebody's ass. Like,
that game against Buffalo, Jake Elliott has to make that 59-yard field goal in the freaking wind and rain. He
Yeah.
makes it, and everybody's celebrating. Gentlemen sitting there going like this.
we should
You're shaking your
score.
head.
Yeah, well, you shaking
Yeah,
your
he should have
head.
scored.
Yeah.
But, like, what do you matter?
Yeah.
We're going to overtime here. He didn't deserve to even be there.
Yeah.
So,
So, I'm excited for the season.
So
I'm
am I,
excited.
man.
I'm excited. I'm
Come
excited.
more often this year?
Yes, I will try to. Yes, I will try to.
Family always comes.
Yes.
You consider this a family, too.
Oh yeah.
We
It
invite all
was.
companies.
It was a great. It was great.
We take them 8 to 80, dumb, crippled, and crazy. I bring my kids up here. I encourage others to do the same. As long as I am running this will always be a family atmosphere.
It's awesome. I love it. I found you guys, and I love it. I chimed in a couple times, and I love the Eagles.
And we want more of that.
My aunt and uncle. My aunt lived in Philly for 45 years. My uncle was my idol, my role model. Taught me everything I need to know about Eagle football since I was 5 years old. And so I love the Birds. Plus, I got 2 cousins that are autistic, and their autistic foundation, what they do is just fantastic.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people don't know about.
No,
Especially those of you that don't root for the Eagles or aren't from the Northeast area, don't really understand what football teams do often. Like, what you don't see when you're not a fan, you don't follow the team, is all of the work that goes into the off the field stuff.
Yeah.
When you have an organization like the Philadelphia Eagles that's constantly with the autism, and their players sign it in their contracts.
Yes.
You are going to fucking participate
Yes.
in this. It is a demand.
Yes.
You're going to do it.
Yeah.
And they are the class of the NFL.
Oh, class.
In that class.
Class.
There's a few teams that are class.
Yes.
The Philadelphia Eagles
Our
are
class
at the top of the echelon.
at the top.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna definitely try to.
Yeah,
So.
you come up when you can, man. I tell everybody every week, come up when you can. Just make sure you respond to the post that I put up.
Yes.
So I can make sure we've got enough room for everybody.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people end up fucked. You know?
I had a great time. I met some old couple or whatever. I think his name's Robert. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, tall guy, right?
Yes, he
great
loves
guy.
like neon signs.
Oh,
I
he's
think he
awesome.
has like neon signs, and
Wait, is he?
I got in touch with him, and we text back and forth. He texted me,
good.
yeah, he texted me yesterday. He goes,
And
"What are the
that's
Eagles
what
gonna
we
do?"
want.
Yeah.
Yes, I run this. Mike runs the bar. We do this together. But we want like groups within the group to start talking and spreading. That's the way you grow as a family,
Yes.
right?
And
I try very hard for the audience here. I try very hard.
So you know, we
And I'm not in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
so it's a
Yeah.
giant
Take
pain
that
in
with
the
a
ass
grain
to
of
do this here in
salt. But I
Cincinnati,
remember
but
him saying
try very hard to kind of replicate the way the Green Legion
something
Yeah.
does your shit. And you'll see if you come down and you do. The only thing I'm going to ask from everyone, I don't ask for anything from anyone for this group. And I do a lot to make sure that we've got the Green.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm going to ask is when the Birds come here and the Green Legion's here,
He knows what
buy the tailgate ticket.
Okay.
Okay, it'll be $100. And if I can get a group rate, I will.
Yeah.
If I can't, it'll be about $100. It's worth the price of it.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
And then you will see everything that I brag about all the time with
I need to
this
watch
group.
it.
It is a gigantic family.
It's
There
awesome.
will be 300 to 400 people at the Holy Grail that day.
Taking over the Holy Grail.
Everyone knows
Taking
each
it
other.
over.
And then there's your like Legion Legends and groups within the groups, and we'll do the pregame show from there. I'm for sure. I've got a big surprise from all of you guys about how I'm leaning into the kind of whole redneck
I love
Midwest
that.
Eagles nest.
Yeah.
The outrageous outfit I'll be wearing this coming season. So, at the full encouragement of my dear wife.
Well, you
who,
know,
is nowhere to be found right now.
Gangrene's gonna take over that stadium. So, I mean,
And there are plenty of Birds fans here.
yes,
We're just scattered.
yes,
There's pockets everywhere.
Yes.
We're trying real hard to bring everyone together. So, yeah. You guys, like you and that guy, Rob,
Yeah.
hook up on it, start talking about what Bird's going to do. Somebody knows somebody. Hey, we're bringing 6. Excellent. We've got
Yeah.
room. Just
he
gotta
was
know about
he
it.
was great. He was cool. He was great.
He's a good
So,
guy. And he gets
yeah.
intense.
He does.
He gets very intense.
He does, and he showed me.
Like the first time he was here, he was a little bit timid. And then he saw me ringing the cowbell and yelling and screaming. He's like, oh, yeah.
Well, I was timid the first time too. I didn't know what I could say and what I couldn't say. So I wore.
Well, so keep in mind, it is a restaurant.
Yes.
So you do want to be mindful. However, there are certain games where I tell people, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And you'll full on CV flat not give a fuck.
So his wife.
So those 2 games are against the fucking Cowboys.
Well, his wife, I guess his wife had a family member that's a Dallas fan or whatever. I was like, I got the perfect shirt for you. I got an Eagles shirt. It says, "Hey Dallas," it's got a bird and he's flipping them off. So, and she took a picture of it, sent it. And I was like, man, we talking the freaking thing, and then we freaking lost.
Oh my God.
I was like, shoot. So, but that was a rough patch that year. I don't think that is ever going to happen again.
Closing thought here. Dallas Cowboys. Massive.
Oh, yeah.
They have no money.
Well,
And they're about to pay that idiot quarterback.
plus they have a star linebacker that wants to be an Eagle. Die hard wants to be
I
an
mean,
Eagle.
if it's not obvious,
He wants to be an
he will
Eagle.
take less.
He would take less
to
to
wear
wear green.
Oh,
He
there's no
wants to be an Eagle.
No question
bad.
about it. He talks about it all the time. On his podcast, he's like open about it.
Well, the pick, he goes, I don't know how they do that.
I
He just
say
falls
this
right
all the
to him.
time. Somebody's gonna stop Howie. Somebody's gonna stop Howie. Like, dude, had we drafted Justin Jefferson the year before, you would have been in green.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't have taken Devontae
No, we
Smith,
wouldn't have taken Devontae. So you would have been an Eagle.
which is probably what pisses him off.
Yes, because we messed up on that pick, which,
Dallas is a CeeDee Lamb injury away from being one of the most abysmal offenses in all of it.
oh, yeah.
Tell me who on that team. Gallup is gone.
Yeah.
You gonna tell me Brandon Cooks is gonna carry that spot?
He's old.
You know who their starting running back would be right now?
I don't even know his name.
5'6" Deuce Vaughn.
Okay, Deuce Vaughn. I know, yeah, but
You
okay.
gonna run him between the law
Yeah,
firm
good
of Connor
luck.
and Davis?
And plus, they just lost their left tackle.
Well, they drafted a tackle last night.
Well, they drafted one, but they lost their one.
They did.
He went to the Jets.
Yeah.
So, good luck, Dallas. Have fun, buddy. Have fun,
No,
Dallas.
I think it's our division to lose. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
And I love what's going on here.
So do I.
I am so excited for the secondary.
I just hope they move up and get a linebacker. They got to get a linebacker.
We got to get a linebacker. We got
They got to
to
get somebody.
Yep, I agree.
But they also undrafted free agent. You know what was the?
There's only so many times you can go to that.
I know
level.
that, but that one guy from Wisconsin they got that they let go.
By the way, my
Kendricks.
favorite undrafted
Oh my God, another Michigan.
is a guy that used to work with the Green Legion. Defensive tackle, 15 years in the league, 12 with the Birds. Hollis Thomas.
Oh, Hollis Thomas.
Every year on my birthday is the first person to post on my Facebook wall, "Happy birthday."
Oh my gosh.
Wow. So you got connections
And
with
what
Hollis?
I've been fortunate enough to talk to him, hang out with him, and pick his brain. And what I can tell you is, a lot of these athletes are douchebags.
Yeah.
They tell you this thing, mantra, don't meet your hero.
Yeah.
Right? Hollis Thomas is not that guy.
I could tell
He
when he
is-
would be on radio shows and stuff. He's awesome.
He is absolutely
He's awesome.
fantastic. And the other guy I've been able to get was again a huge throw. It's a couple of them. Michelle and I went in 2020 to Punta Cana with the Green Legion. That was the year they had no fans. We were supposed to play at Green Bay that weekend. And I'm like, bucket list, Lambo.
Yeah.
COVID. No fans.
Yeah, no fans.
So Green Legion decides, keep in mind, this is a business that is run on fan experience. So
Yeah.
no fans, no money's coming.
Yeah.
Runs a trip to Punta Cana. A bunch of us as Legion faithful jump on it.
I do
He
too.
brings Hollis down there. Hollis was working with the Green Legion
Yeah.
at the time. And Lito Shepard.
Oh, Lito.
And Lito was awesome.
Oh,
Lito
wow.
was absolutely awesome.
Wow.
I sat and talked to him for probably 15, 20 minutes right when I first met him. Not a tall guy, probably about my height,
Yeah.
but like the pipes.
I think he was the last cornerback they drafted first round.
He was the last
2002.
defensive back they
Yes.
drafted in the first round.
Lito Shepard.
2002, Lito Shepard.
Eagles Hall of
And at
Famer.
first
Eagles
he-
Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Lito Shepard.
And the first thing I told him was, he's like, "What are you smiling about?" I'm like, "Dude, the bar I still hang out at, when we knew there was a bomb going to the other team's wide receiver, we knew you were up there.
Yeah.
So we
Lito
would just,
Shepard.
you couldn't even see it yet, and
Yeah.
we would just scream, "In Lito, we trust!"
Yes.
And there you were. You were there.
Yes. Yes. Now, did
He
he
said,
do
and he would look at me. He's like, "You're not gonna get all fanboy." I'm like, "No, dude." I'm like, "This is cool."
Did he do the hit on Reggie Bush, or was that
That was Sheldon Brown.
Sheldon Brown?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sheldon Brown.
And I'm not
Eagles
trying-
Hall of Famer.
I'm
Sheldon
not trying
Brown.
to call Lito finesse, but he was a little bit more. Sheldon was a little bit more lay the lumber.
Yes.
Lito could cover though. Man.
Oh,
Damn.
Lito Shepard was a great corner.
But yeah, so it was those two
Great
on that.
corner.
It was those two on that trip. And I got to do the pregame show with them and everything.
Do that, baby. Do that, Johnny.
What, they want to know who's going to beat them Bengals?
Yes, they do.
Everybody!
Everybody. That's a buddy of mine. He's a Bengals season ticket holder. I see him all the time when I would work Bengals
Oh, so he's
games.
a scumbag.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I see his wife's wearing green.
Go Birds!
But we were.
And then there's, recently, the Green Legion's been working with Herbie Fryer.
Really?
Yeah. And getting to sit and do a radio show with him right next to me was,
Wow.
was also a thrill.
He was a great wide receiver on
He
the
deserves to
Birds.
be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
one of our pushes.
On bad
We-
Eagle teams. He
We
was on
want
bad
Herbie
Eagle
in the Hall
teams.
of Fame. Absolutely.
But I got to meet Trey Thomas.
Nice. That's a
My son played football at LaSalle, and I played IMG Academy. Trey Thomas is a line coach at IMG Academy.
Oh, nice.
So they came up to LaSalle and played LaSalle, which obviously wasn't a game. And I'm walking on the field. I had an Eagles shirt on. I wear Eagles every day. My wife is walking
See,
next.
it does exist out here, folks. All right? It's not just me.
My wife is walking next to me, and she goes, "Man, that dude is huge." I said, "That's Trey Thomas." Trey Thomas looked over and he goes, "Go Birds!" I got a picture with him, man. It was awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
I got to pick his brain, and I love Trey Thomas. Is great. Another Eagles Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it's nice when you meet these guys
Yes.
and they're not douchebags. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Irving Fryer's a great dude. Hollis Thomas is a great
Yeah.
dude. Lito was a lot of fun.
my son was
Sometimes
like.
you meet these guys and they're assholes.
I asked
You know what
my
I mean? It's
I
just-
asked
it's unfortunate.
I asked my son. I was like, I said, that's Irvin Fryer. He was a
Irvin,
man.
he's got his own thing.
Well, Trey Thomas. Well, I meant Trey Thomas. I'm sorry. I was like, that's Trey Thomas, ex-Eagle Hall. He's an Eagle Hall of Famer. And Trey Thomas looked at my son and goes, "That's a good dude. He raised you right, didn't he?"
Love it. See, I keep telling you guys, it's not just me out here, right? I do have a crew out here. It's small, but it's growing, right?
But so I love the Birds. Love them. I got an Eagles fan cave, decked out Eagles. So I love it.
Well, welcome to
So.
the Midwest Eagles, man, my brother. Man.
And I met Brett Selleck. So Brett Selleck is awesome.
He's local.
Yeah. I met him at LaSalle. So
Mike and I actually tried to go to his family's bar years ago.
all over there, game on or whatever.
We would watch our games here, but then we would go out and try to recruit every so often.
DJ Watt.
And we went over there, and there were no Eagles fans.
I told John, I said, that's my home.
That was actually the day that Nick Foles threw 7
No,
touchdowns.
that's Friday.
August the Raiders.
Not that was DJ Watt.
Yeah.
No, that's Friday.
It's the Raiders. By the way, my all-time favorite Eagle, Nick Foles. I love Nick Foles.
He's a lot of people's all-time favorite.
I love Nick Foles.
I think Doug Peterson gets a little too much credit for the Philly special. Nick Foles called that.
Foles called that.
It's right there on.
That's why
it's mic'd up and everything. You want Philly, and dude, Nick, Doug is looking at the play card. He goes,
Yeah, let's
do it. Called his own number. Big Nick.
That's why they will not take that statue down.
Yeah,
They will never do it now.
Look, it's the first Super Bowl. You can't do that.
No.
It's a shame that neither of them are with the organization.
I'm trying to make
In my opinion, at the end of that year, I would have traded Nick Foles
At the end of the year?
after the Super Bowl. And I'll tell you why. Keep in mind, you're looking at that point in time, not what transpired
Yeah.
after. At that point in time, we thought we'd only scratched the surface of Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
At that point in time, Nick Foles' stock would have never been higher.
No.
The smart chick. The worst thing they ever did was keep both of them.
need a new.
Both of them. Because
And not realizing that Wentz couldn't handle it upstairs.
no.
And he couldn't.
Because
Because lo and behold, he fucks it up again. He gets his Wentz back.
and Foles damn near almost did it again. So
He's won Brandon. He's won
Alshon
Alshon
Jeffrey
Jeffrey
from
dropped
doing
passes
it again
from going back to the
because
NFC Championship.
because we beat the Rams that year. We beat the Rams, no doubt about it. And we were back in the Super Bowl, and it had been Patriots Eagles again. So
Yeah, we need it.
I
I grew up 40 minutes outside of New York. So outside of football, college, and pro, I have New York everything else.
so let me ask you this: can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
How'd you become a Birds fan?
So growing up,
If you don't mind me asking.
no, it's fine. These guys have all heard this before. Growing up, I grew up in Bridgeport, around Bridgeport, which is 40 minutes from New York City, 2 hours from Boston. About 3 hours from Boston. Basically the same distance from Boston,
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
but really close to Boston.
Yeah.
My parents divorced when I was 2.
Right.
My dad was Boston everything.
Patriots, Red
No,
Sox.
no, no.
Oh, no.
Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins.
All
He
right.
rooted for the Dallas Cowboys.
Home.
Now he grew up when Roger Staubach.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
So, and the Patriots were fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
You know? So he went on a basketball scholarship to Temple University. And I remember as a kid when he would talk about his time there, he said the Philadelphia Eagle fans were the biggest fucking assholes on God's green earth. And he hated them. And that just fueled his passion for the Cowboys even more. So as I moved through life, and look at
Oh, yeah.
even when I got to be like 12 years old, I rooted for the Eagles, but I also like had interest in other players. on
Yeah.
the teams. The Atlanta Falcons were a big deal. You know, and for a long time, 1989, I'm 10 years old. Deion Sanders is
Oh,
this
no,
most
I
electric
like
player coming out of college.
Yeah.
He gets drafted by Atlanta. It's fun
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
As I go through life and I get older, I realize how much of a scumbag my dad actually was. I went against him 100% in every sport. So he's Red Sox, I'm Yankees. He's Bruins, I'm Rangers. He's Celtics, I'm Knicks. He's Cowboys, I'm Birds.
I like it. Well, you made a good choice. You made a good choice.
That's how that happened.
I mean, my uncle was from Philly. He passed away in 2008. Never saw the Eagles win a Super Bowl. And he sits with me every day when I watch the game because Brian Dawkins was his favorite player. But there you go. I have a Brian Dawkins jersey that I set out on a chair.
So eventually, I am going to get this signed, and I'm going to frame it and just hang it on the wall and retire it.
Yeah.
I've been wearing this for 16 years.
And my uncle was everything to me. My father's sitting over there. My father's great. I love my dad. I love my pops. But my Uncle David was, I love Philadelphia. So I love, we spent a lot of summers in Philly. My aunt, my dad's sister, moved to Philly like 40-something years ago. And my uncle just taught me everything. So he would call me when long distance calls were free and tell me every play was going on in the Eagles.
Sure. That's how you say it.
Randall Cunningham was my favorite player. So I love Randall. And he would tell
Imagine
me.
what that 19, that was it, 91 or 92, what that season looks like if he doesn't get hurt.
Oh, Bryce Pop busting his leg. Oh, I cried.
We all did.
I cried. So I love,
I was 13.
and it just kicked with me ever since. And I love the Eagles. I love it. I follow everything Eagles. I'm always doing something with the Eagles. I'm always looking at Eagles stuff. I'm always,
Well, look,
and I got my son doing the same thing.
we need
So
more of that in this group. So keep getting out there. Keep
I
spreading the
will.
word, man.
I will.
Um,
I ran into a bunch of guys at the Reds game on Tuesday. I think a bunch of them came up here yesterday because I told them about.
Right, I know.
They asked me, "Is there an Eagle bar around?" I said,
Back
"Oh,
Porch Saloon, West
so, and I told them where it was, and they were leaving today, so they couldn't come today. A couple guys from Delaware, and a couple were from Philly. So I think they came. I think they came last night. I think. Now I don't know.
That's okay.
I think. So I
Well,
told them.
we want to find the ones that are living here
Yeah.
and get them all here. We want to fill this place with green. Fucking bang.
Well, my buddy's wife, it already looks like she converted because she's wearing green. So,
All right, John, I'm going to wrap it up.
all right,
I've been
buddy.
going for about an hour
Thank you
and
so
40
much
minutes.
for doing
Thank you,
that.
man.
Thanks for letting me
coming
do
in. I
this.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I
We'll do
told
this
you.
more often.
I told you. Hey, draft party. Remember?
I know you did.
And
First round stuff.
it was.
Thursday night. People
Yeah.
want to come out.
I mean, I
First round's
actually
hard.
fell asleep, which I did.
I stayed up and watched the pitch.
My son stayed up and filled me in. So, you know.
Yeah, I went to work. Got there at about 6 at home. Picked up my son, took him to football practice, went to the gym for an hour and a half, picked him back up, went home, and I watched the Knicks, Sixers, and the draft at the same time because I had my war room in the front with 3 TVs.
Okay.
I think I didn't get to sleep until like 11 something at night. It was a mess.
I told Jeremy, I told my son Jeremy, I said, fill me in. Tell me what's going to happen. I'm going to lay down because I get up at 3 in the morning. I'm not going to be at work at 4. So he goes, I wake up at 3:15 or whatever. And he's, Quinyon Mitchell, Dad. I know you. We got him. I was like, okay. Good night, buddy.
Awesome. Good night.
I'll see you tomorrow. So.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Hey, everybody, Midwest Eagles Nest, one more time. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! It's not the best Eagles group. It's not the best Eagles group in the Midwest for no reason, folks. John, thank you again for coming
Appreciate it,
out.
buddy.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it. Thank you so
We'll
much.
do this more often here at the porch. Welcome to come up and jump on anytime.
Anytime. I would love to talk Eagles.
Yeah.
I love it.
And that'll get more and more intense as the summer goes on, for sure. Especially once that schedule comes out.
Yes.
So, for all of you who are listening and commenting, and for all of you who didn't comment, this has been the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio, part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you, as always, for joining us. We are going to sign off here from the Back Porch Saloon. So, from us all here at the Midwest Eagles Nest, you guys take care. Have a good weekend. Don't forget the judge ain't back in until Monday. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And as always, go Birds! All right, kids, that's it. I'm out of here. Y'all take care. I'm going to go have a cigarette, drink a few more beers. Have a good weekend, y'all. We love you.